How's it going, guys? What if I told you that doing the dishes, sharpening your knives, mowing the lawn, or even giving your car an oil change weren't burdens or chores, but were actually privileges? Well, I got a vehicle that needs an oil change, so I thought it'd be fun to hang out in the shop today and talk a little bit about maintenance. This is my 2003 Honda Element, and this vehicle is a rare, perfect thing in my life. And when I say perfect, I don't mean flawless, because there's no such thing. But what I mean is it perfectly hits the check boxes that I have for a vehicle. It's all-wheel drive, which allows me to drive in all sorts of weather, at all sorts of time of the year. It has a ton of cargo capacity. It's super modular, and I've been able to expand on the modularity and the cargo capacity with some of the modifications that I've done to it. It's new enough to be comfortable for passengers, but it's also old enough that you can actually work on it. And another big thing with this vehicle is that it has a huge community of people that were and are in love with it. So if you do run into an issue, there's a really good chance that there's a YouTube video or some forum posts out there that have exactly how to do a workaround with part numbers. Doesn't get much better than that. Now, admittedly, vehicle maintenance is not the easiest place to start your maintenance journey. If you have a newer car, doing something as simple as an oil change may require an engineering degree. And buying older, high-mileage vehicles is a skill set in and of itself. Even if you do everything right, you might still end up with a lemon. When I said earlier that doing your own maintenance is a privilege, I'm definitely not implying that it's easy. And when you're elbow deep in maintaining something of your own, whether it's sprinkler lines or a vehicle or building something at your house, you may not feel like it's much of a privilege when you're half lost in what to do and not sure if you have the right tools. But at the end of that, when you're all cleaned up and you can see a good job done well, even if it's not done perfect, I can't think of anything else on earth that feels the same way and that feels as rewarding as that. The privilege of doing your own maintenance really comes through in two key principles that happen to be its biggest hurdles and its biggest rewards. Most importantly, I think, is skill acquisition, and then my personal favorite, tool acquisition. So since skill acquisition is the most important of all of these, let's tackle that one first. And when we're talking about skill acquisition, the reason that it's the most rewarding and the biggest hurdle is because you're actually learning real skills. You're going to be creatively and critically thinking. You're also going to be working on your patience and creating experiences and skills to draw from in the future so you can tackle future problems. If you're brand new to doing your own maintenance, this skill acquisition is going to be literal. You're going to learn how to wire the plug. You're going to learn how to sharpen the blade. You're going to learn how to change the oil. And with that, you're also going to learn how to learn. You're going to be able to learn how to actually find the answers that you're looking for. And this is becoming a skill in and of itself, the more that the internet eats itself with AI slop. When I'm having a hard time finding the answer to a question, I find that the Firefox browser and the DuckDuckGo search engine are super useful. And all of these experiences can become points of references for you to tackle maintenance in other arenas, building skills on top of skills. And this is another reason that maintenance is a privilege. Not only does it make you more confident, competent, and helpful, it also helps you build skills and use time in places that aren't just earning money or entertaining yourself. It helps you build skills and use time towards building a good life. As you build these skills and competencies, you'll find that you're more willing to tackle more maintenance needs. And you may even find the desire to actually create or build your own things. And as you do this, you're going to find that you don't know as much as you think you may know. As you step away from following step-by-step instructions and watching a video through an entire process, you'll learn that there are some pretty big holes in your knowledge. And you'll find that even doing the same things that you'd already been doing, there are quite a few exceptions. Getting some experience and some confidence, and then realizing that, oh wait, I may not know everything, or I'm finding exceptions to some of this initial knowledge that I'm getting, is the beginning of the master level of maintaining things. And that is knowing that you don't know everything, and knowing that you need to look for what you don't know. So take this Honda Element, for example. I've worked as a grease monkey. I maintain a small fleet of family and friend vehicles. I know how to do oil changes. But I've also done this enough to know that a lot of times the exception is the rule. So when I got this thing, I looked up year, make, and model, and I went and watched a couple YouTube videos, read a bunch of comments, and then checked out a couple forum posts. Now, with this particular vehicle, I didn't find any weird exceptions, but I did find two important service interval notes that the community has made that you're not going to find in any manual. The first has to do with the transmission. The second gear has a weird valve thing, and the community recommends that you do a soft flush of the transmission every 4 to 5 oil changes to make the transmissions last longer. And I recently just did one, so I didn't do it this time. The other thing that I found is with these K-series engines, the valves have a tendency to tighten up about every 40 to 50,000 miles. And you know, in the manual, it's a much bigger service interval. So I knew that I needed to do that service. Then I looked up how to do that service, and it turns out it's really easy. Again, another beauty of buying a car that has a bunch of people that love it, and something that's a little bit older, is you have all of the support that you need to get those things done. So now that we've done the meat and potato of skill acquisition, let's jump into the tasty dessert of tool acquisition. One last quick note on skill acquisition, because this has been a hard-learned lesson for me when it comes to mechanic work, and that is you want to change out of your coveralls before you move your vehicle, because they probably have grease and dirt on them, especially because the underneath of that vehicle is filthy and my floor is filthy. So I've changed back into my street clothes, which is a perfect way to talk about today's sponsor. So I have to interrupt myself because there is a quick update on the sponsor of this video. The sponsor of this video was and is Huckberry. And I was going to tell you about the sweet chore coat that I'm wearing in the video. I've got it right here. I've really been digging it. Remind you guys just about the great curation and content that Huckberry does. Just do the things so you guys know that Huckberry is an awesome partner, and that when you can, you should support them if they have something you're interested in. But as I was sitting down to edit, I just learned of an amazing grant giveaway, whatever you want to call it, that Huckberry just launched, and they're calling it the Dream Year Giveaway. And what they're offering is $100,000 in cold hard cash. They're offering $10,000 in Huckberry gear, so like a $10,000 shopping spree on Huckberry.com. Can't go wrong there. They're offering to fly you out to Texas and sit down with the key players at Huckberry that know about building businesses and having adventures, so that whatever that you choose to do with that money for the upcoming year, you're going to have people that will help you plan it and help you execute it, as well as a year-long access to the experts, entrepreneurs, creators, chefs, you name it, that they have and that they work with regularly, you know, on Huckberry.com and on the different projects that they work on. And I think this is absolutely amazing. But whether you've been trying to start a side hustle, whether you've been trying to start a main hustle, whether you've been trying to go on a huge adventure, or whether you're just trying to not be burnt out and stressed out, this is an amazing opportunity. And the best part about it is that it's a free entry. So first entry is free. All you got to go do is put in your email. You can also get more entries by buying stuff. So if you've seen anything on the channel, or if you've seen anything on their website that you're into, now is a perfect time to buy it, because there could be a huge return. And again, that first entry is free, which I think is huge. This is one reason that I love working with Huckberry. They always put these types of things first. They put realness first. They put authenticity first, and they just put quality first. And I think this is a quality giveaway. So I hope that you guys click the link down in the description. It's absolutely free. Literally all you have to do is put in your email. And then, like I said, after putting in your email, if you want more entries, there are more ways to enter. And a great time to start buying Huckberry gear. And the coolest thing about this is that this isn't going to run for 6 months, 12 months, whatever. It's not going to run for a long time. You got like 30 days. So if you're watching this, click the link in the description, go over, put your email in, maybe bookmark it, and come back, finish the video, because I've got some cool stuff to say about tools that you might find on Huckberry. And I really hope that one of you out there wins this thing, because I would love to hear about the experience, or maybe we'll get together and do a video about it, or whatever it may be. So click the link down in the description. You can go shopping and all that as well. But more importantly, give yourself a chance and enter this giveaway, even if it's just the free entry giveaway. So hope you take advantage of it, and let's jump back in. Now, I don't have any hard and fast rules on exactly which tools you should be buying or what quality of tools you should be buying, what level of tool you should be buying, because I don't know what you're maintaining and I don't know how often you're going to need those tools or how often you're going to be maintaining those things. I've worked professionally in a lot of different fields and a lot of different trades, and so I have a lot of professional level tools that I still use really regularly. I'm glad that I have them, but that's not necessarily for everyone. That being said, I do have a couple guidelines that I think are really useful for anybody at any level. And the first is basically just a little saying to remember, and that is that there is a specialty tool for every job, but not every job requires a specialty tool. I think a great example of this are carpenters on YouTube. Those guys are usually working in professional cabinet shops, and at the end of the day, they've got 13 saws that can do 25 different things. And really, most people can get by just by creatively thinking and critically thinking with a good skill saw. So just remember that. There is a specialty tool for every job, but not every job requires a specialty tool. The other thing that I would say is if you have tools that you know you're only going to use a few times or that you're only use periodically, you're not going to be using on a daily basis, you're not going to be using all the time, don't discount Harbor Freight. For decades, I've used Harbor Freight exactly like that. If I need just kind of a weird timing tool or I need a weird checker tool or whatever it is, and there's just no way around it, I absolutely have to have that tool, I'll go get it from Harbor Freight. And if it turns out that I use that thing enough to break the Harbor Freight version, then I'll go buy a nicer version. Rarely happens. And recently, in the last few years, Harbor Freight quality has really been going up. I don't think that I would buy any of my core tools there, but for things you're using periodically, I think that Harbor Freight is a really viable and really great option. Now, all that being said, I hope that this gives you some inspiration and gives you some movement forward on maintaining the things around you and some reasons to maintain the things around you. And while I was kind of putting this video together, it reminded me of a quote from one of my favorite books of all time, which I brought out and put in the old toolbox just for you guys. And that is Shop Class as Soulcraft by Matthew B. Crawford. Absolutely amazing. When I was in college, I actually hosted him, and me and him got to hang out. Pretty cool. He's a motorcycle guy, he's an electrician, he's a philosopher. I really vibe with him. But there's a quote in there that I think is really great when it comes to maintaining, it comes to skill acquisition specifically. And that is, the best sort of democratic education is neither snobbish nor egalitarian. Rather, it accords a place of honor in our common life to whatever is best. At this weird moment of growing passivity and dependence, let us publicly recognize a yeoman aristocracy, those who gain real knowledge of real things, the sort we all depend on every day. And so I invite you, by maintaining your stuff, to join that yeoman aristocracy, and we'll catch you on the next one.